As you move from Active Directory to Microsoft Entra ID, device identity becomes a critical design choice. Traditional domain join, Microsoft Entra join, and hybrid join each affect how users sign in, receive policy, access apps, and get managed. Up to this point, you've built the identity migration foundation: legacy AD, Entra ID, migration strategy, and hybrid synchronization. Now the focus shifts from users to devices, where the join model determines how Windows participates in both legacy and modern environments. Device identity is the trust relationship that tells the identity platform, I know this device and I know its state. That signal influences sign-in, policy enforcement, resource access, and security posture. In traditional AD domain join, the trust model was built for LAN-centric environments. Microsoft Entra join moves it to cloud-first management and remote work. Hybrid join sits between the two, preserving AD dependencies while adding cloud identity and conditional access controls. At a high level, each model places device trust in a different place. At the domain, join centers the device in on-premises Active Directory, which fits legacy apps and traditional management. Microsoft Entra join makes the cloud the authority, reducing network dependency and aligning with Intune and modern access. Hybrid Entra join keeps the AD computer account while also registering the device in Entra ID. The right choice depends on app dependencies, management tools, network design, and your target state. With traditional AD domain join, the device becomes part of the on-premises domain. It has its own computer object in Active Directory and relies on domain controllers for identity, authentication, and policy. When a user signs in, Windows typically uses Kerberos, with NTLM still present in some environments. DNS helps the device find domain services. After authentication, group policy applies settings such as security baselines, scripts, map drives, desktop configuration, and application rules. This model assumes connectivity to the corporate network either directly or through VPN. On a domain-joined device, sign-in works best when Active Directory is reachable. The workstation uses DNS to locate a domain controller, validates time and Kerberos requirements, and requests tickets that prove the user's identity. Those tickets make access to file shares, applications, and other domain resources feel seamless. If the device is offline, cached credentials may still allow sign-in, but that is not the same as reaching the domain. Password changes, policy refresh, and many resource checks still require network connectivity, often through VPN for remote users. Add domain join is not automatically outdated. It remains the right fit when devices depend on legacy applications, on-prem file shares, domain-based access, or detailed group policy controls. The trade-off is that those same strengths can create migration friction. Devices may need line of sight to domain controllers, VPN access, and careful GPO troubleshooting. For modernization, focus on dependency. Keep domain join where a real requirement remains, and move toward cloud join, and Intune where users are remote, apps are modern, and policies can be rebuilt cleanly. Microsoft Entra join gives the device its identity directly from Microsoft Entra ID rather than from an on-premises domain controller. The user signs in with a work or school account, and that sign-in can be evaluated with modern authentication, conditional access, and device compliance. Intune and Autopilot can then provision settings, apps, and security policies over the internet. The key idea is independence from the corporate network. A new laptop can be shipped to a remote employee, enrolled, secured, and connected to Microsoft 365 and SaaS services without ever touching the office. Think of Microsoft Entra join as a cloud front door for the device. The user signs into Windows with their work or school account, and that same identity can provide single sign-on to Microsoft 365, SaaS apps, and other integrated services. With Windows Hello for Business, sign-in can become passwordless and phishing-resistant, using biometrics or a PIN tied to the device. Operationally, the big shift is location independence. Devices can be set up remotely without direct contact with an on-premises domain controller. In this model, the device becomes more than a machine with a login. It becomes a managed security signal. Intune applies configuration, compliance rules, baselines, and apps. Conditional access uses that device state along with user risk, location, and authentication strength to decide whether access should be allowed. Defender, BitLocker, and attack surface reduction add endpoint protection. The planning point is important. Entra join reduces reliance on group policy, but legacy controls must be deliberately replaced with modern management and security policies. Microsoft Entra join is strongest when the user's work already lives in the cloud. A remote sales team is a good example. New Windows devices, Intune management, Microsoft 365, SharePoint files, and a SaaS CRM all align well with cloud authentication. Friction appears when dependencies still expect Active Directory, such as legacy finance apps, mapped file shares, print servers, or domain-based sign-in. That does not make Entra join the wrong choice. It means migration should be phased, starting with groups that have the fewest legacy blockers. Hybrid Microsoft Entra join is the bridge between traditional domain join and cloud-based device identity. The Windows device keeps its AD computer account, group policy relationships, and domain trust, so users can still reach file shares, legacy apps, and other on-prem resources. At the same time, a matching device identity is registered in Entra ID. That gives Microsoft 365 conditional access and security tools a cloud-visible device to evaluate. This model is especially useful during phased migrations, when you need cloud control without breaking existing domain dependencies. Hybrid join starts with a normal domain join device. The computer object exists in Active Directory, and the organization has configured the hybrid join path, often with Microsoft Entra Connect synchronizing the required device information. The device then registers with Microsoft Entra ID and receives a cloud-recognized identity. The coexistence point is critical. Traditional domain behavior remains in place. Users still sign in against AD and receive group policy, while cloud services can evaluate the device for conditional access. Validate both sides, the local device state and the device object in Entra ID. Choosing a device identity model is rarely all or nothing. Add join still fits devices tied to legacy apps, group policy, or direct on-premises access. Microsoft Entra join is the stronger target for cloud-first, remote users managed through Intune and modern access controls. Hybrid Entra join provides coexistence while you replace policies and move apps. The key is segmentation. Match each device group to its dependencies, migration timeline, security requirements, and user experience, then modernize in waves. Device identity is the pivot point in moving from AD to Microsoft Entra ID. Add join keeps legacy dependencies working. Entra join enables cloud-native access and management, and hybrid join bridges the two. Your best path depends on apps, policy, security, and user experience. Next, we turn that strategy into action. Migrating devices, modernizing policy, preserving SSO, and driving adoption.